Yo, what's up everybody? It's the Legend of W here, and I'm back in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain in episode 43, Shining Lights Even in Death.
Boss, let's go over the situation again. We've got another parasite outbreak in the laboratory on the quarantine platform.
So, this episode is, I believe, one of the best in the entire game because, well, you'll see for yourself in a moment. It's pretty impactful.
No idea.
So as you can see, it looks like there are, a couple dead bodies here. But right here, this guy just starts to wake up. So basically, it's all part of the infection. And somehow, these guys aren't gonna get out alive.
We've sealed all the exits to keep it from spreading. No one's getting out.
So we start off on the helicopter,
One
of
of the
course.
researchers inside managed to isolate the parasite behind the outbreak. He faxed over his findings. Code Talker's analyzing them now. Why this new outbreak, despite our inoculation? This is still unclear. Introducing the Wolbachia to the infected prevented symptoms during the last epidemic. The parasites lodge in the victim's throat, forming a mating pair. But the Wolbachia turns the male to female. Two females can neither copulate nor lay eggs. That's why the rescue team went in with more Wolbachia. But the outbreak still isn't under control. They should not be capable of laying eggs. Yet, we have a new outbreak. And the Wolbachia have no effect. I pray this is not some new strain. If it is, then someone may have brought it here. If there's a spy running around. For now, we must focus on discerning the outbreak mechanism. The cases show another alarming new development. It is now even more difficult to tell who is infected.
Mm-hmm.
The eggs
Exactly.
propagate out of sight. No external symptoms. One who appears healthy may be dying on the inside. What the hell happened in there? Boss, I still can't raise the rescue team I sent in. We know how to proceed if we just knew how to ID the symptoms. Finding that out is part of your job in there.
So I go ahead and land onto the quarantine base, located pretty far away from Diamond Dogs. And it just gets pretty interesting the more that I get closer to the entrance. As you can see, I'm gonna be sealed shut.
Hang on, Snake. We've just had a transmission from inside. Here's the audio. It all makes sense now. I win.
Where's it coming from?
Unknown. It cut off before we could get a fix. It all makes sense. Think he means the parasite? No way to know. But right now, that's all we've got. Hopefully he can tell us something. We'll have to close the tent behind you, boss.
Told you.
Don't think the infection's airborne, but
But we're trying to avoid it. So I go ahead and wear a gas mask, of course. So that way I can,
find a source
Yeah.
of that transmission, boss. Find our man.
You never know.
Alright, so, once the door closes, I pretty much start the mission. This, of course, I mentioned, is one of the most impactful episodes in the entire game, in my opinion. You enter into the quarantine base. Now, this is actually pretty cool.
What is it?
What? Nothing. I was talking. Kaz always interrupting me.
Something sweet. I can smell
That
it
is
through
true.
the mask.
The rescue team reported that too. Said it smelled like ripe fruit. We cannot allow the infection to spread. If anyone shows symptoms, you must put them out of their misery.
That includes me.
So putting out of the misery is actually something that, from what is seen as part of the mission. I checked through my items and I noticed that I don't have all my equipment, so I only have a lethal handgun and a lethal assault rifle, which kind of made me feel a little bit uncomfortable since I'm so accustomed to using less lethal force.
Don't touch him. He's covered in blood.
There's a lot of blood all over the place, so a lot of bad stuff has happened here, with a few of my soldiers killed, and also a few of them that I believe were committed suicide.
Staff member has died.
Okay, I'm staying back. Shit. Okay. So anyway, just looking around, it's just really depressing.
He's got a mask. He's with the rescue team.
All right, so he has a mask. But while moving along, I just noticed that there's just a lot more blood.
Was that more of the message? We'll try to clean it up.
All right, so again, you know, I try to go ahead and explore the area. I kept hearing a lot of voices, so I assumed that there were a lot of guys who were just still alive but infected and dying slowly. I kept scanning each and every one of them to kind of just get their names. Here I went downstairs and I found a Peace Walker theme tape. So just in case if you haven't found it, it's right there. Ooh.
Another transmission.
So here I found one soldier, and he's alive.
Wearing a mask. He's part of the rescue team. Looks like he's not the one who sent the message. I'd like to hear what he has to say, but you need to keep going.
So as I kept moving along, I just kept finding more and more soldiers. This one wasn't particularly gonna stay alive. As you can see, he just preferred death than to stay here. I tried to prevent it, but I couldn't do any CQC against him, so it was pretty depressing scene that I couldn't stop him.
I have analyzed part of the data that was faxed out. It appears even those who barely spoke became symptomatic. This must be some kind of mutation.
Indeed, a mutation it is. So, just walking around, I just kept hearing a few more gunshots. And I didn't know what was coming up. What I also forgot to mention is how interesting it is that I'm actually indoors this time, you know, compared to like always being outdoors in the game. So this was actually kind of refreshing, even though it's depressing. So I just wanted to take a look at the soldiers who are dying. Whoops, and there's my phone. But anyways, I go up to the final floor of this base and I enter a pretty slightly lengthy cutscene. You're gonna see how crazy it gets. So it goes up and there's the last individual over here. Is he alive or dead? He's alive!
What the hell happened?
Ooh.
At least you're okay.
What's going on?
I win. I'm no snail.
Now, there's a reason for him saying that he's not a snail. Sadly, he died, but there is a reason for the message that he sent out. And you'll see why in just a moment.
So he sent the transmission. Seems like he had a way of IDing who's symptomatic. But what was he trying to say? Snail. Yes, of course.
Yes, see?
It all makes sense now. Do not let anyone showing symptoms get outside. As infection progresses, it triggers an overwhelming urge to get out in the open. That's the parasite controlling them. Once outside, the birds will feed on infected bodies, spreading the parasite on land.
Alright, so right here it gets a bit intense as the door starts, somebody's knocking on the door. I'm like all nervous and shit. And it gets pretty crazy here in this stage. So they knock the door open and a whole bunch of soldiers just start to try to run out. And, Venom couldn't, take that for nothing, because if they would go out, they would start infecting everybody else, and that is something that we were trying to avoid here. But a whole bunch more were coming out, and things started to get really intense. More soldiers started to just run past Big Boss, and it just was pretty sad to see this kind of scenery happen, where a whole bunch of soldiers will just end up dying in the hands of Big Boss. Ooh, so a missile dropped right on top of the quarantine base. Everything just went nuts. Everything is on fire, but not entirely at the moment, just at the top. You can see a few soldiers just getting burned, and unfortunately they die. A very tragic end to a lot of Big Boss's men, who were just 100% faithful and served Big Boss. But the impact was done, and from here on out it just gets even worse. As you can see, there are a few more soldiers that walk in, and they look like they're ready to battle.
To shoot, boss. We can't let them outside.
So, according to Kaz and everybody else, I'm supposed to kill them.
Individuals to leave. Shoot, Snake.
So, yeah, it was a bit tough to realize that I had no other choice but to kill them.
Shoot, Snake. If you don't, we'll have to torch the place.
See, so Kaz is really giving me the ultimatum of shoot, just kill them all. I have to do it. There's no other choice. I stubbornly tried to CQC them as much as I could, but I just said, it's not gonna work. It looks like I have to kill them. I believe that's the way this episode was intended to be played. So I executed the soldiers. I couldn't help but feel very bad that I killed, these guys, and my heroism was going down. So
Those goggles. If you see a glow in someone's throat, that means they are infected.
right.
He's infected. Kill him, boss. We can't save him now.
So unfortunately, I had no other choice but to kill these guys, but I didn't want to kill them. I felt like there was something else that I could do, but it didn't look so good at all. And I tried to look for some kind of solution. Maybe an entrance was open, so I kind of explored all over the place, back to back, from the first floor all the way back to the top. But it was just looking pretty bad, even when I went downstairs over here, which, yeah, there was some noise. So I remember nobody was here, so I go ahead and try to open the door once again with the lockpick. And there are a whole bunch of soldiers over here.
Boss! Hey! Let's let the boss decide. We live and die by your order, boss. Boss!
Hearing that from my soldiers, I couldn't felt more guilty, realizing that I had no other choice. And these guys just humming, the song just made it worse. But
Team member to the accident.
yes,
He's the only one not infected.
Yes, there was one who was not infected, so I kind of felt at least good that at least one soldier made it. So I said, shit, you know, I gotta get this guy, you know, out of here. Let me take him back to the entrance. Maybe I wasn't supposed to kill everybody after all, by my hands at least. Then this happened.
Got a survivor. Unlock the door.
Wait. Yeah.
I don't think I made it after all.
What? You just checked him. Could it have progressed this quickly? Boss, take another look at him with the goggles.
So I was forced to check this guy out since at first it looked like he was okay, but unfortunately he got infected too.
Analysis complete.
I don't believe it.
So once again I went all the way back to the top to see if there was any other options, but you know, the real truth is I had to kill each and every single soldier I saw in front of me.
Has died.
You just killed your own... Emmerich, what the hell? Nobody asked for your opinion. You expect me to just stand by and watch this?
So I just kept shooting every single soldier in the head, taking them out of their misery. It was tough.
Same Snake. He was one of your men.
Member has died.
Yeah, it was a pretty ugly sight to do.
Said we're a family. Or was it all lies?
Huey keeps scolding me, and I just kept doing it till I got pretty much every single soldier.
That's not the big boss I knew.
Member has
So Huey was pretty disappointed in me, but I simply had no choice. So walking down to the basement, I think this was kind of the hardest thing to do. You know, even though I just did it, it was tough just seeing that these soldiers, knowing that they're so faithful to Big Boss, were just willing to die. They knew what were, you know, that
complete.
they were gonna die anyway. It was pretty much their fate. So
Analysis.
pretty tough to look at them. I wanted to get every single name before they died. Noticed that a lot of them, you know, were pretty high-ranking soldiers, so it was kind of tough to see all of these good guys get shot to death.
Has died.
Very tough. With the last one over here, I just took a look at him and then just proceeded to kill him. And then the mission task was complete.
Staff member has died.
So I lost a lot of heroism, but I really didn't care about that. I was just more... I felt more guilty knowing that I killed so many of my men that I kind of understood, you know, what was going on through Big Boss's head. Knowing for the fact that you kill your own is not really a great thing. So, Big Boss just goes on to back into the hallway, where you can see a whole bunch of dead bodies. Pretty much every single one of them, well, at least most of them were killed by him. And I guess he's, you know, kind of like in a moment of where he just needed to be by himself, or in a moment of transforming into the demon snake that was shown in the trailer. So the horn gets bigger here, so it kind of, you know, tells you, like, you know, Venom becomes a demon. Pretty impactful scene. He just you know, walks down the hallway where a whole bunch of dead bodies are at. Looking at the Diamond Dog emblem, it's pretty impactful, I have to say. So right here, I just couldn't help but feel empty, feel bad about it. Right here, Big Boss just, you know, kneels down. Something that I haven't ever seen him do in the game. So this was pretty impactful for me to watch. And of course, the scene right here where, you know, he just kind of looks, I guess, down or in front of the hallway with a red light just brighten up. Pretty impactful scene. Overall, this chapter was very depressing and definitely marks the Phantom Pain in its name entirely. So in this rank, there's no rank, no score. I mean, there is a score, but doesn't matter. Anyways, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this impactful video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. I'm gonna see you guys in the next chapter. Peace.